Hello everyone, and welcome to the open day for the MSc in Creative Computing at the Creative Computing Institute. My name is Georgina and I'll be your host today. And we're going to share all about this program at CCI, the Creative Computing Institute, the MSc in Creative Computing. And in order to do that, we'll have with us Phoenix Perry, who's the course leader of the program. And we'll also have 4 different students who are current students at the MSc in Creative Computing, and we're going to be hearing about their experience at CCI and at the course. To give you an overview of how the session is structured, we're going to start playing some videos that will introduce you a little bit more about CCI. We will share with you some walkthroughs of the CCI spaces, facilities, and resources that are available to CCI students. We're also going to be sharing a little bit about our research themes, the social mission, and the public program activities. And lastly, we'll be talking about the local area in Camberwell and Peckham in Southeast London, where CCI's campus is based. Right after that, Phoenix will give us an overview of the MSc in Creative Computing structure, units, approach, and all the content about the course. And finally, we'll have the chance, as I said, to go through some frequently asked questions with the students and to hear about their experience at CCI. Before we continue, just a note to say that we are going to be recording this session and we'll re-upload it on our YouTube channel with English closed captions. So just know that if you miss some details, you'll have the chance to go through it again and catch up at your own pace. So let's get this started. We'll begin by watching a video that will walk you through all the facilities and resources that are available to all CCI students.
Welcome to the CCI Facilities Tour. Over the next few minutes, we are going to show you around the campus and tell you a bit about the facilities and resources available to our students. CCI South London is located across 2 buildings along Peckham Road in Camberwell. We share our buildings with Camberwell College of Arts, which is a fantastic opportunity for CCI students to get to know and collaborate with students studying courses like fine art, photography, graphic design and illustration. The Greencoat building hosts teaching spaces and technical spaces for students studying creative computing and creative robotics. It also hosts the Dark Lab for AR, VR and interaction design. This summer, we are going to be creating additional technical spaces in this building to support the new creative robotics courses that open in September 2023. CCI is located on the 5th floor of Peckham Road, where we have teaching spaces and technical labs, as well as a kitchen, which is our main student hangout and study space. We have several high-spec workstation computers where you can work on machine learning, data science and other intensive computing tasks. We have a library on site with access to a range of books, e-books, periodicals and databases. Our dedicated librarian, Beninia, ensures that these resources are kept up to date to help you complete your studies. Across the courtyard is Gardens House, one of a growing number of halls of residence across London. And on the ground floor is the Learning Zone, a space for self-directed study that is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to all UAL students. There are places to eat, like our canteen, student advice centre and support services, and an art and materials shop. In summer 2023, we will redevelop the former London College of Fashion building at High Holborn. We will share this building with UAL's brand new PhD hub, which will help to ensure that CCI's focus remains around the development of world-class research. At our Holborn site, we will create new technical, teaching and library facilities to support our new courses in computer science and data science.
The technicians here at CCI all have a decade of experience doing really cool stuff with emerging technology. We'd love to help the students here with any questions they have about their projects. The Dark Lab is for experimenting with interaction, projection, sound and VR. Great for permanent projection setups. We've got a couple of VR booths, we've got loads of speakers and many other toys to play with. I specialize in creative coding and especially interactive things using Kinect and cameras and game engines, 3D graphics. We have a whole bunch of equipment that students can take out on loan, including projectors, Kinects. We also have laptop lockers where you can get a laptop to work with.
Physical computing really is just the connection to the physical world, to the data. Students have played with physical computing in all sorts of different ways. A lot of interaction with gaming and the VR world as well. Sensing various different bits and pieces, using touch especially, all sorts of different sensors to put things in a virtual world, or vice versa. They could have things coming from a virtual world and bringing them into the real world. We generally lend Arduinos to all of the students, and with that we have a collection of different modules. This allows us to interact with the world in various different ways. Those modules could be sound sensing, they could be image sensing, they could be sensing the environment in some other way. The benches here are for the students to solder and prototype, put different boards together. We have different components with different levels of exploration with electronics, so you can quickly get something together on breadboard, or you might want to make something that's more solid.
I help students who want to use the digital knitting machine, the digital embroidery machine, and who are also thinking about incorporating electronics or computation into textiles or wearable kind of technology. We have a silver reed digital knitting machine. So that's a domestic knitting machine that can be computer controlled, so you can use it to create digital patterns, and that's used to produce knitted fabric. I tend to think of it like a 3D printer kind of for textiles. And then the other textiles machine that we have is a Brother digital embroidery machine. So that's kind of fully automated programmable embroidery machine that you can use to embroider textiles.
This is Digital Fabrication Lab, and we have 3D printing machine and laser cutting machine here. For our 3D printers, we just drag your design into the software and slicing it and directly push it to the printer, and your design will be materialized. For the laser cutter, it's also very efficient. Even very complex pattern, it will only take like several minutes. Most of students will use it to generate the housing for their physical computing things. It helps students to materialize their project quickly.
To find out more about our facilities and equipment, please visit wiki.cci.arts.ac.uk.
Now, a lot of students are interested in finding out more about the research themes that we explore here at CCI and the social mission that underpins this research, our teaching, and the public program activities that we run. In the following video, we will share with you all about it. CCI's key research themes are creativity, machine learning and AI, human-computer interaction and platforms, and big data and digital citizenship. So we're interested in how machine learning and AI can transform people's creative practices, enable the creation of totally new kinds of work in music and art, and enable new people to get involved in creative practice. We've created a lot of software tools like Wekinator, Mimic, and InteractML, which are used by tens of thousands of people around the world to make new music and art and games. We've had staff and students exhibit work that's created with AI at venues like the Whitney and the Barbican, and we've had collaborations with artists and musicians like Arca, Massive Attack, and others. A number of staff and students are also leaders in community and activist groups. For instance, the Code Liberation Foundation teaches women and non-binary people how to make games, and the Critical Platform Studies Group explores how digital platforms might encode and even reproduce patterns of problematic power structures in society. This rich and exciting research environment is the product of many staff coming together from lots of different disciplines. These include not just computer science and art, but music, engineering, design, philosophy, art history, and all sorts of other domains. We all bring our excitement and experience from these different research projects with us into the classroom. And it's a place that I really love teaching, and I'm excited to share it with you. CCI's teaching, research, and outreach activities are all informed by our social mission. This mission has three components. They are digital inclusion, diversity in technology, and digital entrepreneurship. First, we are committed to the inclusion of marginalized people in the creation of technology and in the use of technology. This informs what we teach, both in the classroom and beyond the classroom. It also means that we have to recognize that the lack of diversity in the tech workforce right now both stems from and contributes to broader problems in our society, and we have to address these too.
Secondly, we're really mindful about the impacts that technology has on the broader world. We have to recognize the potential harms that come with technology, whether that means harms to well-being or even exacerbating bias and inequality. At the same time, we're very involved in projects that aim to have a more positive impact on the world. We are collaborating with the Decolonizing Art Institute at UAL right now to try to surface and mitigate bias in museum collections across the UK. We have staff and students, some with disabilities themselves, who are making technologies that enable new ways for disabled people to interact with technology and create new forms of technology for themselves. And third, CCI is committed to creating digital entrepreneurship opportunities for marginalized people. If we want tech to be a force for good, we need to enable people to apply technology in ways that they're excited and passionate about, where they know technology is going to be useful. So this means applying creative computing to new application areas, to addressing needs in people's communities, and to affecting social change.
The Creative Computing Institute's public programme can be anything from talks, workshops, short online tutorials, conversations, and it's really aimed at engaging with the community outside of our students. Students joining it too, but it's very much for the general public. The reason I run it with so much passion is because it's a part of my ongoing research and practice, which is about including unheard voices in technology development. I think that we've got as much to give communities as we can learn as an institution from communities. And so engaging with the general public is engaging with users and having that dialogue, that critical dialogue, and then coming back and designing software and hardware from a more informed position is really important. I would love to tell you a little bit more about TechYard. It's a huge part of the CCI's public programme, and I've been running it for almost 3 years now. So it started in the pandemic as an online tutorial course for young people, and now it's grown into a hybrid programme. We go into schools, we run workshops here at the CCI, we collaborate with galleries all around London and hopefully soon beyond. And again, it's the ethos of engaging people outside of our student cohort with the critical creative computing conversation, ethics, and of course, like skills as well, right? So we can run 3D modelling workshops, virtual reality workshops, and we work with beyond young people now. So I do loads of stuff for young people, but also done some work with adults as well. Examples of past public programme workshops that we've run include inclusive design in wearable technology, designing a feminist chatbot, and queering voice AI trans-centred design.
And the last video we've got prepared for you will give you an idea of how vibrant and exciting is the area and culture that surrounds CCI's campus in Southeast London in Peckham and Camberwell. I hope you get to enjoy it as much as we do.
The area of Peckham and Camberwell is very much becoming a centre for art and performance and music, and so it's a natural home for what is a brand new centre of creative technology.
There's so much to do in terms of eating out or bars, pubs. It's very easy to get to like Brixton, Peckham, Camberwell.
I love Peckham. Something about the area, Camberwell, Peckham, New Cross, Deptford, with Goldsmiths as well, kind of creates quite a nice community. I definitely feel like where I live, which is close by, has a kind of community spirit.
Every year is in terms of more things to do, cafes, galleries. The galleries I like to go to is the Hannah Barry Gallery, the South London Gallery. Peckham Levels do a lot of pop-up galleries, so it's always changing. Peckhamplex is really cool. It's just next to Peckham Levels. The best thing about Peckhamplex is the cinema tickets are £4.99 and it's the cheapest cinema in London. Also in the area there's my favourite park. It has Bauer Art Gallery set up by UAL students. It's just got such great access into other areas in town. The East London line goes straight to Hoxton, Shoreditch, Dalston. The community at CCI, really friendly. Everyone can just express themselves and just be themselves.
It's my third year studying at the Creative Computing Institute.
and I've been really enjoying my time, and I'm very happy with all the knowledge I've got from the tutors and my peers. The community is really nice here. I feel like every time I'm stuck, I can always find the right person to talk to, and I always get further with my project.
Something about the space is really nice. It's a very kind of calming environment, nice teachers I find. So it kind of creates a welcoming environment. I feel like I can spend a whole day here and feel pretty happy. I can safely say that the technicians are really attentive and kind of excited as well. If you get Pete talking about something, he'll talk to you for like a very long time about like 50 different things that you could be doing with what you have.
I also go to the technical space quite a lot because it's really nice to just walk in and ask questions and then solving the issues that always come up when you code. I think the most valuable thing I've learned here is that just by talking with people and asking them about what they're interested about and what they're passionate about, this is how I've learned most.
All right, now it's time to start talking about the MSc in Creative Computing, the reason why you're all here today. And what we're gonna do first is show you an amazing example of the work that is being produced at the MSc in Creative Computing. And in the following video, you'll have the chance to see and hear more about a project that they developed, which is called Forest Daydream, and that it was put together in collaboration with the Welcome Collection. Hope you enjoy it.
We play as creatures in this world. We play to test our limits. We play to see how things fit. We often experiment in play and try things out in play that we wouldn't feel safe doing if the context was removed.
It's really an attitude with which you engage in the world.
By playing, you can create something new, or you experience something that you didn't expect.
Hello, I am Phoenix Ferry, and I'm the course leader here on the Creative Computing degree at the Creative Computing Institute. This is a project called Forest Daydream, which is the third iteration of a project that I've been working on for several years with many different collaborators. It is a long-term research agenda that I've had to look at social play in groups and collaboration in groups. So the project itself involves a couple of pieces. There is a small forest, which looks like a low poly video game forest, and a small hut, which looks like a low poly video game hut. My thinking behind that is that we spend a lot of time in virtual natural environments when we live in cities. So pulling where we actually end up going back out into the real world and looking at it as an object. So that's why it looks the way it does and the kind of architecture it has. Beyond that, each piece is interactive, and then there are games which play out amongst the pieces, and they require multiple people to play. So something will be happening over here, and then you'll need a response to it over here. So there's no way to play it on your own, so you have to ask for help and ask for cooperation, which is one of the underlying philosophical points I'm trying to make in the game, is that you can't do things on your own, you need to do them in groups. We have this class here that I'm leading right now on environmental computing and spatial computing. They are working with me on this project in an attempt to get experience working with a gallery, with a large-scale institution like Welcome Collection. So it's part of the pedagogical process of getting them from point A to point B, of being ready and able to work with the public and knowing what that looks like. Then from there, they're going to proceed to doing full-scale works all on their own in public spaces.
Personally, I was rather focused on the programming of the microcontrollers. All the different parts have to interact with each other, have to talk with each other So every button press has to be signaled somewhere else, and all the different parts have to be coordinated into one single game.
You've got sounds going on and lighting and all these physical models. So these really create an environment. I hope people coming would feel relaxed.
I worked on the soldering and the wiring, and I also helped with the construction of the dome and the trees. You are not designed for yourself, so you need to study how others behave and interact.
My name's Ben Kelly. My role in Forest Daydream, it was almost like a sound supervisor role to create an immersive soundscapes which evoke the rainforest, and also music composition. Los Casinos is an ongoing project with the Wampi, the indigenous community who live near the Ecuadorian border of the Amazonas rainforest. I spent some time with them 2 years ago and developed an ongoing relationship as an artist to help with their government, to help deforestation and indigenous land rights. The sound recordings, soundscapes are very immersive, as again a hyper-reality, to try and aim to trigger this emotional feeling, this primal feeling of interconnectivity with nature. I hope it stimulates audience members to ask themselves questions of their own role within the social ecological system.
We need outlets for social collaboration and communication as adults, and we don't get them enough. And we really have to think about how play sits in a modern society in new ways.
I hope this video got you even more excited about joining the MS in Creative Computing here at CCI. And now I'm very happy to pass on the mic to my colleague, Phoenix Perry, who's the course leader of the program and who will share with you the course approach, units, and content with you. Hello, Phoenix. The floor is yours.
Hey, I gotta unmute myself. Hi, Gigi. Hello, everybody at CCI. Hello, people online. Welcome to the MSc Open Day. I hope you are excited. I am really looking forward to having you come join this MSc if you're an artist or a creator or a musician who's been working with this kind of material but wants to grow their practice and in particular deepen their technical knowledge so they can produce better work. My goal with the MSc is to foster a culture of creative collaboration through the students, but also amongst the students and the staff. And I really think that's what this video does. What this piece did is it gave me a chance to really collaborate with the students as an artist. And one of my favorite things about this project is that Elin, who you saw just very briefly in the video talking, she went on to make a VR version of the project that was super amazing. It was this interactive sound installation that could be permanently installed in VR space as it is. And it was just delightful to see her take something that we had made and then extend it into virtual reality and make her own version of it with her own soundscape and her own twist on like how it should be. It was such a delight. I mean, we're in year 3 now, and we've seen some amazing, amazing artwork. This year, Adam Cole did this really amazing. Come to our final show. It's coming up, by the way. If you're in London, you've got to come. Keep an eye out for that. But he did this really amazing machine learning piece, which he combined his like computational generative art with like machine learning systems, and it's just makes these beautiful octopus shapes. It just blows your mind. And I've seen interactive physical synthesizers involving like multiple objects like balls that are lighting up and swinging back and forth. Yesterday I actually cried at work. I was wondering when it was going to happen, but it actually happened yesterday. I cried because I saw a piece of art that had been made by a student named James, and it is an interactive machine learning piece that takes the system that Rebecca and I built, Interactimel, and turns it into a live performance environment in Unreal. And this piece just touched me so much because as a musician, that's why I had made these tools in the first place, was so I could do live interactive embodied performance. And it was so difficult for me when I originally was working this way because I had to write like 6 pieces of software. And Rebecca and I worked really hard with Unreal and really hard with Epic Games to build it into the Unreal Engine. And here was this artist creating with it, and I literally cried. I got really choked up. I made him cry too. It was adorable. So if you're that kind of person, if you're looking to make really cool, groundbreaking art, this is the program for you. If you see technology as a material for creation, please come. I'm super excited. If you want to make apps, we have a great Apple Swift program you can go enroll in, but that is not this course. So speaking of, what is it that we do? I'm going to screen share with you so you can see a breakdown of the units and get a sense of like how important critical theory is and computational thinking and how we weave the study of art and science through everything we do creatively. So let's see here. Let's see if I can screen share. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, hopefully this will work okay. Let's see. Great. Awesome. So you should be seeing my screen now. Hey. So this is the course diagram. So I want to walk you through this really quick and just give you an overview of what it is we do. So we have 4 terms. It runs all the way until almost December. Actually, the show is in December this year. It runs all through all 4 terms. We start with a really deep engagement with computing and art. So coding 1 and coding 2 is taught by Mick Grierson, who's an amazing, amazing researcher. He's the head of research at the CCI. And his own work and his own background is as a musician. And I like to think of Mick in like a white lab coat with like 7 analog synthesizers in front of him, like covered in paint, losing his mind in synthesizers, because this is what he was like when he was younger. And he's really taken that energy and woven it into this really rich computational practice. And he doesn't teach with any libraries. He teaches artists how to have control of their computational worlds from the ground. So you'll learn about things like shaders, you'll learn about how to create geometry, you'll learn how to generate sound and make it react to interactivity. And the coding 1 is just a really rich class, and it's taught in Mimic, which is a live coding platform that Mick has built with a bunch of other artists and musicians like Louie and Rebecca. Then coding 2 is in Open Frameworks, which is a really cool creative computing platform made by Zach Lieberman and a bunch of other really amazing folks like Theo. And it just really lets you get really low level with the code so you can run your art super fast and you can make just beautiful generative art with it. I love seeing what people do in OF. It's always cool. And the thing about Mick, because he's the head of research, he doesn't just teach code. It is code in a holistic way connected to the artists who work with it, the theory around it, and he deeply engages with the subject matter. Simultaneously, there's a critical studies unit running, and in critical studies, we have a lot of really deep conversations. We get into it. We debate exactly why this stuff is existing and what its point is in the world. And sometimes, we have different opinions. Some people, this is me personally, I think that blockchain is going to end us. And eventually it'll get there, but it's got a long way to go. And, every now and again, we'll get someone who's really pro blockchain, and you'll have a really healthy debate. Or we'll look at like ways that feminism can intersect with data, and we'll have conversations about how no data is uncooked or reflecting a viewpoint. We'll talk about how technology is not neutral. We'll explore issues of computation as they relate to exploitation. with the mining of cobalt in Congo. We'll really engage with some of the more uncomfortable things at looking at our technology stack and asking ourselves how we can be sustainable in our creative practice. We're also going to take advanced physical computing, which is always, if I don't say so myself, I run it. Everyone's favorite unit. We hook electricity up. We think about ways in which we can make really cool interfaces and interactive art, and PComp is just always a good time. The first run through of it is a bit wild because you're like, what is this stuff? What does it do? Am I going to get electrocuted? You're not going to get electrocuted. It's probably going to be fine. I say probably going to be fine. No, it's going to be totally fine. There's nothing that we work on that can kill you. But I like to make jokes about making magic smoke, because until you blow something up, tiny blow-ups, not big blow-up, but you break a capacitor, you burn out something, you don't really know what you're doing, blow up an LED. These are small blow-ups. You've done worse in your kitchen with the blender. But I really love working with this stuff because it's so super fun. And, you know, we have all these great resources at CCI, and next year we're going to have even more of them. I'm so excited. I've been doing a lot of really fun things. The hand isn't back there anymore. There's a hand that we've been building. I've been building this like robotic arm extension hand for a minute now. And we're going to have more facilities so I can make more weird stuff. And I'm really excited to see what it's like to have workshop with like some wood tools. That's going to be cool. It's coming online next year. The Dark Lab is amazing. I'm so excited. We also have this great exhibition space at Eagle Wharf and all this community engagement. So there's no way you're going to be bored. After that, we do the Advanced Computational Environments unit, which is the unit Forest Daydream got made for. And then you get to take Coding 3 with Rebecca Febrink, and Terrence. What an honor. You get to really think about how to make art with machine learning, which is super exciting, in my opinion. I think machine learning generated visual art right now, particularly machine learning generated video, I just love it. I love thinking about issues of data sets and copyright. And if you generate something in the style of another artist, who owns it? Do you have the right to repeat people's art, or should we engage with the politics of that? Very fascinating stuff. Then you get this big break. We wave goodbye to you. You pick a supervisor for your thesis. I give you a wonderful palette of artists and, you know, social change activists. Last year, activist named Hadil, who has a project called Bright Sign, worked with us. Caroline Sanders worked with us, a bunch of other really cool folks. And you get to pick a supervisor, and you then have a really deep engagement with a piece of creative work that you make. It can be a tool. You can design a tool for your creative practice. You can design a tool to critically engage with people. I've seen people make plugins for browsers before that do things like filter news bubbles and try and disrupt them. There've been all kinds of really amazing final projects. There've been engagements with. We had a student model the ecological collapse in the Rockies, and explore what it would be like if you reintroduced wolves or you introduced different species into the ecology and how that would play out. So it was like a advanced computational system model. This year there's some amazing work. I'm seeing it leak in. It's all due right now. So I'm seeing it leak in. It's very exciting. And then you come back and you show this work, you show it to the public, and it's really cool. There's some really cool streams on the YouTube channel if you want to see what people have made before. One is called the MSc Open Day, and the other one is called the Postgraduate Showcase. They're both basically mostly MSc shows at this point. There might be a few folks from other degrees, but this year it's going to be a more mixed up cohort because they're putting all the master's degree students together in one end of the year show. So you'll be able to probably pick out the MSc projects because they're going to be super arty. Yeah, that's what we do. It's very exciting. I know you're going to have questions. Let me see if there's any questions coming in through the stream now. Okay, if you need to throw anything into the YouTube because you want a question answered, let's do that. Let me see how we're doing for time here. Ooh, I have exactly 0 minutes and 1 second. Do
Hello,
we need to
Phoenix.
go to Hey.
I'm back. Yeah, we made it to the end of the section. Thank you so much for presenting everything about the MSc in creative computing. Now, shall we invite the students to come in here and share
Yeah.
about their experience? So, it's a pleasure to invite Kiri, Advait, Ziching, and Joe to this space. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for
Hello.
joining us.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Beautiful. So yeah, this is the Q&A section. So if you're watching and you have any questions about the MSc in Creative Computing, if you would like to hear from the students, there's something that you would like to know about CCI, this is your chance to do it. So first of all, shall we start with introductions? It would be great to hear a little bit about yourself. What is your background, motivations to join the MSc? And the person that I have on top of my screen is Kiri. So would you like to start with this, Kiri?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Kiri, and I really like interaction design. And what brought me to the course was the wide range of both physical computing and being able to create artwork with computing that I hadn't really seen anywhere else. And personally, I really like exploring the nuances behind what makes you uncomfortable, and such as Uncanny Valley, where things are a little bit human, it makes you very uncomfortable, and using that to question our trust in technology. That's the kind of route that I'm going down.
Thank you, Kiri. That's amazing to hear. Joe, you're the next one on my screen. Would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Joe, and then why I'm choosing MSc Creative Computing is like my old major is product design, and then sometimes I did a lot of like Arduino things like that. So I find out creative computing can help me with that, and also like my design is based on observing of live event in the deep investigation, and also I'm interested in helping the minority groups like elderly children things, and yeah.
Thank you so much, Joe. Next one on my screen is Ziching. Would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Ziqing from and my background is industrial design, and now I'm mainly focusing on the design of interactive installation. And this is my first term on computer creative computing, and it is a really nice learning experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Beautiful. So, Advait, you're next.
So I wasn't mute. Hello, hi everyone. I'm Advait. I am an industrial designer again by education, but a game designer by practice. And so before I came to the CCI, I was exploring all kinds of tabletop games, board games, card games. And I chose the CCI because I just wanted to add an extra dimension to my games in terms of computers. yeah.
Thank you so much, Advait, for sharing. Beautiful. So we have some questions coming through the chat already. So shall we start with them? So we've got one Rachel with a beautiful comment here. So they're joining us from Hong Kong, and it says, may I also know about Phoenix's background a bit more? Definitely fun to see a mentor with high energy in a computing discipline. Phoenix, would you like to share a little bit more about your practice?
Yeah. Is my mic still live, Gigi?
Yes, it's working.
All right, Rachel, here is an hour-long YouTube video about my personal creative practice. This is the best way to do it. But long story short, I started off originally as a filmmaker, and I was making all these movies and running an independent art gallery and punk rock place called ATA, which is a legendary punk rock museum in San Francisco. I have some really fun, hilarious stories about being in a bunch of horror movies with a bunch of really famous musicians. You can't find them, thank God. And then I started working in the Valley as a programmer because I had a background in computer science and making films at the same time. And I got really sick. Spent 5 years on benefits, which was a life-changing experience. And I started really rethinking interface design and how interface design can work for people with disabilities because I have issues with my spine. And that led to a life-changing practice in rethinking interaction design. And that led me to think about ways in which we could build inclusive interfaces, and that led me to games because actually I thought it was really cool to get people to experience these really experimental interfaces, and the way to do that was through play. So that's kind of how I got where I got, but I've been really exploring social play and really thinking about like CRIP methodologies for design and how people with disabilities can actually introduce whole new ways of thinking about design into design practices. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Thank you, Phoenix. Thanks for sharing. Actually, I realized there were questions that were sent earlier than that one, so we're just gonna jump straight onto those ones. And we have a couple of questions that are about the application process. So to break it down a little bit, we're gonna start with this one from Adina Nicola, which says, what is the level of coding you have to have when you start the master?
Cool. So I'm looking for folks who have some experience. I ideally, but by some experience, if you have written a line of code before in your life, you're qualified. I am also interested in people who've played with like Touch Designer or Maximus P or made audio stuff in Ableton. I just don't want people who don't know how to use a Finder. You know, I'm looking for folks who I can see have some sort of digital art making practice. So if you've made anything computational or can show me you can think computationally, that's generally enough.
Thank you, Phoenix. And the second one that we have about the application process is about the personal statement. So what are the expectations for the personal statement? Do you know about the word limit range, for example?
I don't read them much.
Amazing. What we're gonna do then is we can share the page of the course and all the information is there.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, G. Spend more time on your portfolio, okay? I really look at what you've made. I care more about what you've made than what you say about what you've made, if that makes any sense. I let the work speak for itself. I open the personal statement just to make sure that you've not gotten in it that your like ambition in life is to be a serial killer. And that's basically it. So I really care about your work first.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Phoenix. All right, moving on to the next question that we received. There's this one that says, on the prospectus, there's a distance learning option. Could you elaborate about this?
Yeah, sure. We have one person doing it this year. He's very, very sweet. I've been meeting with him individually so he doesn't feel like he's lost in the dark. You can do the MSc remotely, and I think this is a really good option if you have a full-time job. I know that I had a full-time job when I did my master's. I was a creative director in design in New York City. Long story short, how I got there is too long to have in this video, but I ended up as a designer in New York and I could not make money. So for me, a distance learning option would have been amazing. So that's why we've included it here. You basically stream the lectures online. All the content for the courses is online. So if you have a 9-to-5 job or have kids or have some caring responsibilities, you can still do the degree. That's my hope.
Thank you, Phoenix. Nice. All right. Let me see what's other question we received over YouTube. Right. So it's about the application process still. What kind of work would you like to see in the portfolio?
I would love to see what you've made. Show me what you've made. Mostly, if you've got some project where you can show me some of your project shots too, like here's how I got to this idea. that would be really useful. I've seen some amazing takes on portfolios over the years. I've seen them submitted as zines. One of my favorite portfolios I ever got was submitted like a zine. So you can get a little experimental with it or playful with it. You can draw the whole thing. I'm okay with you getting a little weird. I want to just see your ingenuity. I want to see your ambition. I hope that answers that. Don't panic though. Don't have a heart attack. You shouldn't spend more than a day or two on it. Like don't kill yourself. This coming from the artist who just spent a month on their own portfolio video that I shared the link earlier. So I don't know if it's possible, but if you can not kill yourself, I'd appreciate you not killing yourself for it.
Good. Phoenix, before we move on to the next question, next topic, there's one last question about the portfolio. So Adina Nicola is looking for some more advice and tips for the portfolio to maybe clarify a little bit what is expected from you guys and whether you can expand on that.
Oh my goodness. I almost don't even know what to say about this. My bangs are too long. They're getting in my way. I mean, look at my own portfolio. I put a link here. It's really long. You don't need a portfolio this elaborate. But notice how I started off with a little bit about what I value. It's in the video. If you can weave something like that into your visual portfolio, it'd be cool. But mostly just show me what you've made. Just literally take what you've made and put it in a PDF for me.
Nice one. Thank you, Phoenix. So now it would be amazing to hear from the students that we have with us here. And the next question that we're going to be covering is, what sort of work will I get to produce during the MSc? And as far as I'm aware, the students here have some stuff that they've been developing and working on. So what a better chance than this one to show us a little bit about that. Yeah, would you be happy to share with us? Maybe, shall we start from the bottom now? Advice, would you like to share first?
Yeah, sure. Well, please excuse me, first of all, for the form that my work is in. I'm just finishing the project. But in my first 2 months here, I've been working on this little puzzle, on this game, which is a puzzle that can be solved by playing music to it. So I just got some things laser cut like about 2 days ago from the CCI. And the idea is you got to play these notes in a specific order in order to solve a puzzle that sits on the wall. So I'm still in the process of assembling it. It's a lot of electronics. I don't know if you can see it. There's going to be a lot more that go in here. But that's mostly what I've been working on right now, using my game design experience and then adding what I learned on the Arduino course to it.
Thank you, Advait. Thanks for sharing with us. Beautiful. Joe, do you have something to share with us here as well?
Yeah, right now I'm working on this, but I haven't plugged it, so it's actually have a LED in it, and then it's teaching design like that. It's for children.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing. Beautiful. Ziqing, would you like to share as well what you've been working on?
Yes. Could you please give me a little bit second because I want to load the program to show everyone what I got now.
Yeah, of course.
Just,
that would
just
be amazing.
A few seconds.
No worries. So, Kiri, do you want to go next then?
Okay. So for my Arduino project, I've made kind of like a bit of a creepy puppet, and I've CAD'd up and 3D printed some eyes that will be going like that, and they'll be controlled by servo. And basically the puppet will be crying with LED lights, and then the closer you get, it stops crying. And then when you get close enough, it will look at you and look at its hand. And once you've held its hand, it will trap your hand. And then it will look up at you and it will smile. And it's meant to create like a really uncomfortable moment between you and the piece of artwork over, is it a nice thing? Is it a bad thing? Yeah, and then I still need to code a release switch for the person, but I don't know if I want to.
Nice one. Thank you, Kiri. That's amazing. Lovely. Ziqing, are you ready to show us?
Yes. So basically, it's a kind of OLED screen, and can you see that? And if I done it fully, when you use the NFC tag to come closer to the reader, then the beautiful fireworks can explode it in your screen. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Zijing. Hi.
Yeah.
Lovely. So moving on, we've got a couple of more questions that we still have time to cover. And the next one is about what's the difference between the CCI and elsewhere? Phoenix, would you like to start with this one?
Totally. I think the difference about the CCI is the research. You have so many educators who really are practitioners who do research and publish papers in the discipline. We are not just academics that like sit up on our laurels, right? We're academics who produce software, we produce frameworks, and you can use them. Like you can go download them right now and use them in the world. And that's like a complete difference. I don't know anyone outside a handful of people who can actually give their students tools to work with that they authored. So I think that really sets us apart, and it sets apart what we're doing.
Thank you, Phoenix. Amazing. Then a lot of questions coming through as well about people with different backgrounds willing to get into creative computing. So for example, we've got this one that says, should artists do this degree if they're interested in computational art making? What would you say there, Phoenix?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do want you to have some sort of art making with code before, but I would love to have you if you're an artist. I'm an artist myself. So please join.
Thank you, Phoenix. Beautiful. Then you talked about research earlier as well, Phoenix, and we received this question about whether students can be research assistants and participate in UL's research labs. What would you say on that?
Absolutely. You totally can. We are always hiring someone somewhere at the CCI. It seems to be impossible for us to not hire people. So feel free to know that you are fully welcome to like look at open job postings. We have a lot of really cool ones. We just like the collections project Rebecca spoke about in the video. They just hired a research assistant and it looked so cool. I was like, God, could I quit my job and just get away on doing that? And I was like, oh, I can't do it. It's not paid enough for me at this phase in my life. But my God, it looked amazing. It was like all Arduino based. I was like, wow, this looks so fun. So there's just like so much cool stuff going on at the CCI. It's hard not to get yourself involved in something. And Mick makes so much money. Oh my God, Mick Grierson, he's just a finance raising machine, and he has hired so many of the really good coders. He just sucks them up like a vacuum into the CCI projects. Chris Holtum is a former NSC student. I've hired him to teach. It's also really common that I'll pick people up who are good for the next years. We try and keep folks who really are interested in staying around.
Thank you, Phoenix. The next one is actually for you to cover as well. And talking about opportunities here, it says, does the Uni Institute offer part-time teaching or research assistantships to eligible students? So just to maybe break it down a little bit more.
Oh my God, we have so much cool stuff. There's a whole program at UAL called Arts Temps, and I really recommend you look it up. I'm about to hire Advit in a role to help me do some fun teaching on the MSc, because he used to teach Arduino to high school kids. So I think it'd be really fun to have him help do some coding stuff for the MSc. And I'm just able to hire him because we have this Arts Temp program, right? So there are all these part-time jobs that are available, sometimes all over London, sometimes within URL, and they're paid pretty decently. Arts Temps has like a livable wage, and it's a really good way to subsidize like what you're doing.
Thank you, Phoenix. Amazing. And then moving on, talking about jobs perspectives, what sort of jobs can students apply to after graduating from the MSc in Creative Computing?
All right, real talk. I'm sorry, real talk. We have to eat. There are a bunch of pathways. You can kind of do what I did, which is like look for jobs in the creative arts. Like I always found a way to like make money off my skills somehow. So whether it was in design doing like what I was doing in my art practice for a company, or it was making tools for other folks because I wanted to build up a certain skill set. Like often I would take a job on that pushed me to grow in a space that I wanted to learn in. Or you can get art commissions, you can get grants. Like Caroline Senders is a former student of mine, and so is well, Sue Gwen isn't, but she's a former artist that used to work with me at my gallery devotion. Both those folks went on to like make a full living off their art. Um, and a lot of artists that I've worked with over the years. I owned an art gallery in New York City for 5 years, and I've seen a lot of artists doing this kind of work actually be able to manifest careers. So Caroline, I had her in to teach this year, which was super exciting. But she was like, I can't take the second term because I got a $50,000 art residency in the US, got to bail for half a year. And like, you know, she's picking up really great commissions doing creative work. And I think there's a lot of that kind of work to be had. Also, I think it's really interesting when artists embed with like organizations. So I know the New York City Department of Sanitation, for example, just had a really compelling art residency. I saw a really cool project come out of. And there's a lot of space for people who are interested in doing activist work to find work in third sector jobs. And I think that if you left the MSc, you could completely go work as a creative technologist at a company for a while if you wanted to like save some money. You could go work at an interactive firm, or you could apply for art residencies or PhDs. And particularly if you wanted to stay in research, you could. We have an on ramp through the MRes into the PhD program, which is pretty sweet.
Thank you so much, Phoenix. So we almost made it to the end of the question, but I wouldn't like to end before asking another round of questions to all the students here. And I wonder whether you would be happy to share a little bit about what is the thing that you have found more helpful or useful in during your studies at CCI so far. Maybe is it like the teaching resources? Is it the technical resources? Is it the teaching staff? If there's something that you would like to share with all the audience here, all these people thinking about applying to the MSc in Creative Computing, it would be great just from your own experience. Kiri, would you like to start with that one?
Yeah, I think the thing that I like the most about CCI is the atmosphere. There's so many interesting people, that's lecturers and other students, because lots of people come from jobs in the industry, and obviously some are artists, they've just come in fresh, some are doing biology degrees or whatever, and there's just such a melting pot of information and interesting people and you just learn so much here that is not necessarily what you've come to learn, and it's amazing. I really love it.
Thank you, Kiri. That's amazing to hear. Joe, would you like to share next?
Yeah. I was studying in UAL before, but at the moment we only have once a week for the tutorial. But in CCI, because we have like technical or academic tutorial, but it's for like freedom for book as what you want. So I think that's really helpful for us to improve our work or help with coding, Arduino, things like this. Yeah.
Thank you, Zoe. Amazing to hear. Ziqing, would you like to share as well?
The most important thing I learned in CCI is you need to be confident, and you can trust that you can solve every challenges by yourself. And every tutor in CCI, they are very willing to help you, and they will leave no efforts to help you when every time when you need help. And I still remember that when we take the coding one course, and tutor said you don't need to master everything, but you need to trust that you can solve it when you face a very big challenge. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Ziqing. Amazing to hear. And Advait, you're the next one.
Yeah, I think my fellow students have highlighted most of what I had to say, but along I speak specifically of the facilitators and the technicians when I say this, but not only are they helpful, more importantly, what I've noticed is that they're all extremely enthusiastic and extremely passionate about their work, which just adds to the experience. It's one thing to just help a student out, but it's another thing to be immersed in a student's projects, and that's something that I've seen in my time here so far. And apart from that, I think another thing that I really appreciate is just the open-endedness of the course. So we're given a few things to learn that we have to master, obviously. But then in terms of the art projects that we do, both in physical computing as well as like purely digital computing, there's a lot of independence, there's a lot of freedom as to what we can take up and what we can explore, and a lot of support no matter what we choose. So that's something I've really come to appreciate. My favorite
Thank you,
part.
Advait. Thank you so much. Actually, the last question that we're going to be covering is one from the audience, from one Rachel, and it's actually about that, like from these independent studies. They would like to know a little bit about how you arrived to the topic in this realm. And yeah, we thought that it would be very interesting to cover that before we leave. Is there anyone here who would like to share a little bit about their experience and how they ended up developing this project?
Uh, so mine's a bit of a funny one, and this just plays into the city of London. So after we were asked to come up with a design project, I spent about a week being absolutely lost about what I wanted to do. And so I decided to go down to the British Museum in London. It's about 45 minutes to an hour away from Peckham. And one of the exhibits was this uh, collection, this array of tiles, which were just not aligned to each other. And I thought, what if I could just magically align them from the place that I am standing in behind the glass on the other side of the glass? And that's sort of where I developed this idea of a puzzle that is not aligned, that can move almost magically, like Arthur Clarke states in his third law. And then because of my game design experience, I just developed it from there on into a game. Then I thought I'd add music into it. That's how I got here.
Thank you so much for sharing, Advait. Is there anyone else who would like to share before we finish the session on this topic?
I don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
So I come from product design, and everything has to be useful, which I just don't like. So when I had the opportunity for this, I didn't want to make anything particularly good. I just wanted to make something that was weird and for the sake just making art, really. And I find puppets very unsettling, and I was like, well, how can I make other people unsettled by this? So yeah, it's an ongoing theme in the robotic type things I make. So it's just something I enjoy, and yeah, something I enjoy.
Thank you, Kerry. That's amazing. Well, we officially made it to the end of the event. Thank you so much, Phoenix, Kerry, Joe, Ziqing, and Advait for sharing about your experience and for sharing all about the MSc in Creative Computing. Now, I hope it was an insightful and useful presentation, and that your questions and doubts about the MSc in Creative Computing and the Creative Computing Institute were answered. If that is not the case, we encourage you to email us at cci@arts.ac.uk, and we'll be super happy to answer your queries that were not covered today. We also invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we upload a lot of content about students' work and projects and other seminars and online events that we are doing. And also, if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on UAL_CCI, and there we will also be posting about future event, upcoming activities, workshops, talks, and all sort of activities open to the public. Thank you so much for watching today, and we look forward to meeting you in real life. In the meantime, take care, everyone.